Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts. In the previous part, there was just some training at the Olympus Coliseum while Ben and Jordan tested out their new device that allows them to take people from their worlds.
That's a little too complicated to go into so much detail right at the start of a video, though. For now, we'll just say that we're forcing Joe to confront his fears of the nightmare before Christmas by tying him up and not letting him leave until he finishes the world. Plus, we taped the controller to his hands and are holding his lizard hostage.
I hate every moment of this.
That's nice anyway, Ben and Jordan. Do you have any advice you want to give Joe before he actually gets into the next world?
There's a few things we will mention later on, but for now, there's nothing too important. We did, however, want to give an overview of our findings from our last adventure in this game, as we found quite a lot of information that we never expected to obtain. Right now, however, our main priority is getting Joe to stop being afraid of a Disney movie.
That is pretty weird how this is actually something we even have to deal with, but Joe, by the end of this part, you had better either get over your fear of a movie that nobody else your age is scared of, at least get through it enough to make some progress in this game. We release these episodes like once a month if we're lucky at this rate, so we don't need you slowing us down any more than normal.
I can't promise either. At this point right now is the only part where I'm not in complete fear since we're not actually in the world yet.
Hey, editor, can you cut ahead to the beginning of the world now?
I hate you, Donald.
A little bit abrupt of a way to get there, but that's certainly one way of arriving at our next destination.
This is by far the worst day of my life.
Hey, while Joe does whatever it is he does in this place, shouldn't there have been some sort of crossover character by now? Usually one shows up before we get to a world, but we haven't seen anyone yet.
I'm not exactly a crossover character in the traditional sense, but I'm happy to fill that role for a while if you all don't mind.
I'm sorry, who are you again? You don't exactly look like any presidents we've seen before.
I would have thought Ben or Jordan would have told you all about me by now, but I suppose I was mistaken. Boys and girls of every age get strapped in because this is a lore episode. You're going to learn all about me and Joe's weird fear of this world and all sorts of fun little tidbits about the multiverse that not even the Daily Wire have picked up on yet.
I'm so paralyzed in fear of being in this place that I don't even care about the weird cloaked guy with us right now. I just want to go home and eat popsicles and probably sleep or something.
As long as you still play the game, we don't really care, but more importantly, Ben, Jordan, do you two know this guy? Is he one of the 5 people in the world who subscribe to Daily Wire Plus?
First off, we have like 6 subscribers, not 5. Anyway, no, we don't know him. I mean, we've seen him before, but it's not like we went to college together or something like that. We saw him back in the President's Central after the last time we went to Traverse Town.
And now, allow me to introduce the Master of Terror, the King of Nightmares, Jack Skellington!
That's him. That's the guy I've been afraid of this entire time.
I'm not sure what to focus on at this point between Joe being afraid of Jack Skellington or this cloaked guy showing up out of nowhere.
Thank you. But their movement still needs work. It's not scary enough. I want to strike bone-chilling terror. I'm going to consult the doctor.
Then I'll go attend to the decorations.
Okay, between paying attention to the game story, Joe getting over his fear, and this new guy, we can only really focus on one thing or maybe 2 at a maximum, so we need to not keep going back and forth.
All right. I'll admit I came in unannounced, so I'll step back for a few minutes and watch another universe's events, then come back once you all have been given an introduction by your Daily Wire friends there. I wouldn't want to keep Joe away from his personal growth or whatever it is he's going through.
As hard as it may be, we're going to need to focus on the game for a little bit, and then we'll talk more about him when we know how to describe him. His name is 11, but we really don't know much else for sure about him besides that.
Damaged in the explosion.
Nonsense. My devices are always perfect.
Oh, I've got it! Why, of course. The heartless need a heart. Doctor, do you think we can add a heart to that device?
Certainly. A heart's not all that complicated. Let's get to work.
So I'm a little confused. If the Heartless need a heart, then would they even really be a Heartless at that point? What would we even call them if they did have one? It kind of defeats the purpose of the name if they had a heart.
There's a lot of things like this in the series that don't really make much sense. This, out of all the games, probably is the least complicated since it doesn't have to tie into any other games in the series as it's the first one to be released. Sorry, I don't really have an answer, but I have no clue what we would call them.
I think after being around halfway through the game, I should expect that a little more by now.
My, that was amazing. And you are?
Sora.
Well done, Sora. I'd like you to be a part of this year's Halloween.
What's this Heartless doing here?
Oh, the Heartless came to town just recently. What's frustrating is I can't get them to dance with me. So, the doctor and I are trying to improve the guidance system.
Every time I see his face, I remember the fear in my heart come back like it was the first time I watched this movie. Every time he says, "What's this? What's this?" Every time a song comes up that I don't know the lyrics to, everything still haunts me like it did before.
Calm down, Joe. It's not that serious.
Hope and despair. Mix them all together, and we have a heart.
The experiment is about to start.
This was all to make the Heartless dance. I'm curious on where they get these spare hearts from and if they have enough for every Heartless. Considering there's a graveyard nearby, maybe I shouldn't speculate too much.
If there is a graveyard nearby, then it's not hard to come to that conclusion.
Sally! Good for nothing girl. Don't know why I bothered creating her. Sally's got the memory we need. See if you can track her down.
No problem. Sora, would you like to come along?
Sure.
Hey Joe, next time we get to a moment without cutscenes, I'd really like to hear about why you're so afraid of this movie aside from just Jack Skellington.
It will hurt to relive all of the horrors that this put me through, but I'll tell you soon.
Stop them!
Maybe our experiment triggered something. Everything will be fine, Mayor. You have nothing to worry about.
Okay, here it goes. I was watching this movie one day and I heard the door knock. I was really focused on the movie, and then I got so taken aback by the sound that I was in immediate fear since I wasn't expecting anything else around me. I suddenly realized it was Halloween, so maybe I should have expected some trick-or-treaters around, but I was watching the movie and didn't think about what day it was. That fear from the person knocking on the door permanently stayed with me. It doesn't usually bother me, but it all comes back when I see Jack or anything like that. I am attracted to that Sally, though, but she's the one good part of this experience.
I'm not sure what's more bizarre, the fact that you weren't even really scared of the movie, but instead something that happened at the same time you were watching the movie that you just associate together, or that you're attracted to Sally, who is a borderline corpse.
Yeah, I have some weird interests. Anyway, I know it's a little unusual to have this fear in the specific way I do, but it really does bother me every time I hear from him or see a picture of him at Halloween or anything like that.
Joe, I've known you for a few decades, but you still surprise me in ways I'm both impressed with and terrified of.
Since I really don't want to hear more about what else Joe is attracted to, I should ask what exactly even is 11. He hasn't looked like anybody else we've seen visit here so far.
We don't know too much about him. We know he has the appearance of the Master of Masters, who is a character in later Kingdom Hearts games, but doesn't actually seem to be the same person. He has the ability to appear in the President's central space without our Daily Wire technology, but we're not entirely sure how.
He also said he was the reason we all are here and will be the reason we won't, but he didn't elaborate on what that meant. We actually think it would be good for him to come back and explain things, since I don't like having such an unknown figure like this here.
I'd rather listen to him over Joe's disturbing thoughts about Sally, so if he wants to, I'd welcome it.
Zero, have you seen Sally anywhere?
Is something wrong, Jack?
No, everything's going great. We're going to have the best Halloween ever. All we need now is your memory.
Memory? You mean this?
I really don't like seeing Jack here, but I also love seeing Sally, so I feel really conflicted right now. I keep going back and forth between being terrified and also like I'm getting my Riz skills ready.
If you can hold back both of those feelings for the rest of the day and also forever, that would be good.
Once we give the Heartless a heart, they'll dance just as I envision it. Trust me, you're going to love it.
Trust me, Sally, I can treat you way better than Jack ever could. He frightens young children, also former presidents, but I don't frighten anyone. Well, maybe that guy I met at the 7-Eleven last week that I sent my Secret Service after, since he had a special popsicle flavor that I liked and wanted, but other than that, I don't frighten anyone.
Very enticing Joe that's bound to work perfectly.
Did you hear that? Yeah, I sure did. A heart. What should we do?
Gosh, you really are stupid. Isn't it obvious?
Tell call Oogie Boogie.
So Joe, are you afraid of Oogie Boogie or just Jack?
Well, Oogie Boogie doesn't really make me feel any better, especially with all of his insides, but he doesn't really make me feel that much worse either, so pretty neutral.
That bonehead Jack is really making a heart. I'll be jiggered. That works for me. Ooh, when I get my hands on that... Well, I've got no hands, but I'm still gonna nab that heart and control the heartless.
Is now a good time to interrupt? I didn't want to take away from Joe's journey of conquering his oddly specific fear, but I didn't want to step out for too long.
Before you do, Joe, this section up ahead requires you to press the gravestones in a specific order, and then you'll come back here a little later to progress. Yes, we're glad you came back. Actually, we would like to hear more about who or what you even are.
I don't plan on giving everything away all at once, just like that, especially since there's a game to focus on, but sure, I'll tell you a bit about myself today. So, as you may know, a lot of characters exist in their own worlds separate from here, but all of them have to use software to get their voices heard in videos that they upload. There's one main timeline where Donald fought against Joe, but failed so badly during a debate that Joe dropped out and Kamala took his place and lost by a few million votes. All these other worlds, including yours, are branches from that main timeline. When I decided to stop having political figures let their voices be heard, there were quite a few creators that switched over to another method, but some just deleted their videos, abandoned their channels altogether, or rebranded to something completely different. And one guy even tried to claim the rapture was coming for us all, then just moved on like nothing happened after he was proven wrong. Is that reference still timely, or does nobody still care about that anymore? I'm not the best at keeping up with trends.
No, that's kind of old news by now, but other than that, it's a very interesting story you have there, and you're breaking the fourth wall, even more than we normally do, so you'd have to have been following along with this whole trend for a while to really understand this.
Sorry about that. It comes with the territory of being an original character to the series like me. Or as original as you can get, considering I'm literally identical looking to another Kingdom Hearts character with 11s on my hands for no clear reason to anyone but myself.
Well, you look original to most of us since we haven't played the later Kingdom Hearts games quite yet.
Zero! After them, quick!
All right, Joe, just follow the ghost dog, and then you're about halfway there.
I'm so excited to have this place done within the next 15 or so minutes.
That looked like the cover of the movie, so it's a nice detail to have in a cutscene like that. Joe, it looks like that's the place to return to from earlier, so I think you're on the right track.
Hey, I just remembered something mentioned earlier. Something about being the reason we're all here and the reason we won't be. What's that all about?
That's a really good question, but I'm not quite ready to give all the answers away so soon after I was first introduced here. For now, I'll just say I've been planning a little something for the multiverse, but it's taken a lot of my power and focus to send back your visitors you've come across. Usually I notice it when a keyhole is sealed, but I've noticed a few instances last time where you were bringing them over yourselves, so I had to make myself known at that point since it's just a hassle for me to keep doing it after a while. At least that writer, or whatever he is, took the Joe away in Monstro, so it saved me the trouble of doing it myself.
So you've been the one sending everyone else back to where they come from. Sorry about that, we don't exactly control who comes here or when it happens. It is nice talking to someone new, but I feel like we can't have our usual conversations about what's been going on politically since we've been so focused on all the crazy things happening here today.
I'm too focused on not soiling myself in fear, so I haven't been following along all that well in general. Even then, it hasn't really been working, so I'll need to take a bathroom break after I'm untied from here.
Actually, Joe, you talking just made me think about something I noticed the past few minutes. If you're really so scared, then why are you so calm and almost emotionless in your speech? You also don't seem to be playing any worse despite your fears, so I don't know, this whole I'm scared of everything here isn't coming across to me.
I don't really have a good reason I can think of aside from me just being built different.
I don't think that's what that phrase means, but I don't think I'm going to get a better answer, so I'll just accept it. I'm also just realizing that I made my debut appearance in Part 9 and my lore explanation in Part 10. I could have just waited for Part 11, but it's too late to change it now.
I'm still thinking about that line earlier of you being the reason we won't be together. I'm not sure how to interpret that.
Don't look into that too much. It's nothing you have to be concerned over right now. Maybe I'll stop by later on in the playthrough and tell you more, but I'm not putting all my cards on the table quite yet. And hey Joe, how's it going over there? Are you still doing all right with your monotone scared gameplay, or are you doing better?
I'm doing about as well as I can with trying to chew through the rope tying me up while I'm not talking. Also, it's a little weird for you to say I'm monotone, which is true, but you have this different audio quality compared to all of us.
I suppose you could say I am also built different like you are.
I knew Oogie Boogie was behind this.
Considering Jack hasn't really met any other antagonists, I don't know if there's that many other people from his perspective that would also be behind this. Kind of a pointless revelation since there's literally the one guy who would cause him problem.
Joe, you'll have to climb up these structures coming up, then after a few fights you'll be done. Then you can go back to your lizard and also use the bathroom.
Maybe you all can't tell in my really monotone and emotionless voice, but I am looking forward to being done. This is still the worst day of my life after all, but now it feels like there's actually a light at the end of the tunnel instead of pure dread.
Actually, there's something I wanted to address as I've noticed it a few times today. So sometimes there's a cut in the video. I figure it's to cut down on the amount of fights, but you all seem to react to it as if you're not playing the game live right now. I mean, it makes sense to edit out parts of a video, but if the lore here is you're playing these games as anyone else would, then shouldn't these conversations also be cut out with the video sections? Maybe I'm looking way too deeply into this.
That's just something that you shouldn't really think too hard about because it makes less sense that way. It's just a disconnect between us playing these games and the actual video production when our editor wants to remove less interesting sections of the game.
So while Joe keeps making Progress 11, I am curious as to how much you know about us already and even about other universes.
Well, that fits into what I do in my spare time, which is essentially all of the time. I can see the entire multiverse from the President's Central, and I've been observing the timelines for quite a while now. So I know about certain things from many President's universes such as this one. For example, I watched a variant of Barack lose multiple Pokemon all in one day while playing Pokemon Crystal. I also saw quite a few golf games get way higher views than all of you do with the most recent 5 presidents. Basically, a lot of versions just play video games together while some go off and have adventures in college or school or on game shows. A lot of places that the main timeline presidents would never be seen doing together.
Joe, don't worry about these 3, just do what you've been doing the whole time and you'll be all right. Sorry about that, but that certainly makes you at a really unique position out of all the characters we've encountered.
Actually, since you can see other worlds, can you tell us if the Joe from Monstro made it back okay?
I don't think you're asking quite the right question, Donald. He did make it back, but this is more a matter of if he made it back alive. And sad to say, but once the writer took him back, he didn't return to his presidents. I'm sure they're all doing their own thing, but as for Joe, his story is about as over as it can get.
Oh, that is pretty disheartening, though I'm not exactly surprised given how things ended there.
It was unavoidable, as difficult as it was to say goodbye. These worlds are meant to have their own characters stay where they are, and anything unnatural like these crossovers need to be dealt with by those like me who can send them back the way they came. I don't know how long you all plan on doing this for, but if you can avoid the whole characters coming in, that would be good.
They just kind of show up here whenever we start most of these Disney worlds for the first time, but we're not quite sure how or why.
That's related to the gummy ship progression going in between the Disney worlds being parallel to the worlds that are accessible by me in the President's Central. Once you move to a new world, it starts to mingle with another universe and causes a displacement. Basically, it means you going to these Disney places causes it. The exception being your device used in the Olympus Coliseum, which is literally just taken from Sonic Unleashed. It brought 2 Georges over and Knuckles, which took a lot out of me to send back to where they came.
I'm just going to jump down and hope I get to the next section, okay?
Good job, Joe. Anyways, I apologize for the inconvenience. I didn't realize my experiments would cause any problems for anyone.
Oh, don't stress about it too hard. You didn't know about me until recently, so it's all good. I see you're about to fight off against the Jolly White Giant, so I'll let you take care of him, and I might come back before you're done today.
That guy was kind of weird, but he at least was a little more interesting to talk about. I'm not sure how long we can make the same jokes to each other last for.
Quite a while, I'd imagine, but for now we have to stay focused on Joe taking down Oogie Boogie and making it past his irrational fear.
I'm so close to finishing and then being done with Jack.
You want it? Well then come on over and get it! Ah! Now, let's see if I can get their attention. Oh, hi,
So could he summon the Heartless before he ate the heart, or is that something new for him?
I'd never actually thought about that before, I'm not sure.
This is it? Nobody disrespects me! Nobody!
All right, Joe, do you want any direction on how to fight Oogie Boogie?
I can probably figure it out myself, but I want to get this done as soon as I can, so just tell me what to do.
There's going to be some dice thrown on the ground that will determine what threat you're going to have below. Once that is done, then he will start running up where he is at, and you're supposed to hit the button towards the middle that lines up with him the closest. Then the section where you are, it rises, and you can jump up to hit him. After getting some damage, he will automatically send you back down. Just repeat this a few times and you'll be done.
You could also use Thunder to hurt him at any point, although it only does a small amount of damage, so it's not something you can rely on.
Okay, I think I can do this fine enough. I'm so ready to beat him that it's almost making me not afraid anymore.
That's the name of the game.
I thought it was called Kingdom Hearts.
It's just an expression. I'm surprised we haven't been able to talk about this, but what is everyone's opinion on the movie? We've been so occupied with Joe's fear in 11 that we haven't talked much about the actual movie or what's happening in the game. I personally enjoyed it fine enough, though I didn't find it to be one of my favorite Disney movies. Visually, it's very unique and it stands out well, and that alone makes it worth watching for me.
We can skip over Joe's opinion as we already know it pretty well. I haven't actually watched the movie in a long time myself, so I don't have anything to add since I don't remember it clearly enough.
I actually didn't enjoy it very much. I mean, yes, it looks different than other Disney movies, but that's about all it has going for it. All the songs weren't appealing, and there wasn't anything really hooking me in or caring about the environment of characters at all.
I'm with Jordan on this one. It's not all that exceptional, and Pinocchio is still the best Disney movie of all time. For the game itself, it didn't actually adapt much story. Sure, there's the idea of setting up a Halloween celebration with the dancing Heartless, but other than that, there's not a lot from the movie story. Also, there's nothing from the Christmas area here. To be fair, it didn't take up a lot of time in the movie, but there's nothing from it at all, so it doesn't feel as complete. Even though there wasn't a lot to do in the town of Agrabah, for example, at least the major areas of the movie were there, so this feels lesser when you look at it that way.
That's good and all, but yes, I finally beat him. I'm almost done with this horrible place.
Good job, Joe, you got him, and now there's no way he's going to cause any more trouble. Ben, that was very thought-provoking, and I never thought about this area from an adaptation perspective. That is certainly an interesting way of looking at it, and I'm curious on how much this game really takes and what it just makes up altogether.
Most of the worlds are pretty good about at least having the areas match up. I think the one that gets it the worst is the Olympus Coliseum, since there's only 3 rooms and the Coliseum was barely even in the movie. The other games in the series expand on it a lot to show more of what was in the movie. Unfortunately, Joe, you're not done quite yet.
Ah, man, I thought I was finished. Seriously? He was literally dead with all the bugs out of him not even a minute ago, and now he's the size of this whole thing? How does that even happen?
No clue, but to finish him off, you have to attack the purple orbs that show up around him. Once you do that, then it's over for real.
You know what? I think it's time I finally face my fears. All my life I've been afraid of Jack since I watched that movie one time and got scared by something else at the same time. Every October I've been afraid to go down the aisles of the stores that have Halloween costumes because I knew I would see him, but no more. I didn't come all this way in my life just for some movie to paralyze me in fear. Sure, most of this is because I didn't actually chew through the rope that's tied me up, and I would have left at the first opportunity if it presented itself, but I'm too close to the ending here to give in to my fears now. It's bidening time.
That was so much more inspirational than anything else you've said today, so I'm not even going to delve into the fact that the movie has scared you your whole life when it didn't come out until 1993. You've got this, Joe. I believe in your ability to hit a few things in a fairly easy section of a video game made over 2 decades ago.
Well, when you put it like that, then it doesn't sound like much of an accomplishment. Either way, Oogie Boogie's going down.
Hey, now that I think about it, wouldn't it have made more thematic sense if you were scared of Oogie Boogie, since now you're fighting him when you're getting your confidence back? Since you're really scared of Jack, then it's not like you're directly fighting what's causing your fear to begin with.
Oh yeah, that would have made a lot more sense. I don't know, I didn't exactly plan out how I was going to be traumatized by a movie character.
Joe, someone knocked on your door at Halloween while you were watching a movie that isn't exactly a traumatic event.
You are absolutely right, Ben, but the most important thing is Joe is finally done, so we can untie him now. Then he can use the bathroom.
All right, guys, I'm done for the day. You can seal the keyhole or do whatever. I'm cleaning myself off, and I'll be back next time.
All right, Joe, see you later.
It looks like Joe already finished up for today. That's pretty good. I'll come back another time, but for real, don't keep summoning those guests over here. With your device, it really isn't fun for me to handle.
Thanks for stopping by 11. It was good to meet you a little more properly.
We're about done for the day, too, and Barack, you're up for the next world when we get to it.
I look forward to it. Not sure when we'll get to recording it together while we're playing Sonic Adventure for a while, but it'll be a fun time as long as nobody else is scared of more movies.
I really doubt it. Thank you to everyone watching. We appreciate your patience, since these videos take longer to make than our other ones.
Especially with multiple people commentating, it takes a lot of work to finish.
As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And peace out, people.